Everything about Apple's new iPad Air is great except for one thing. When Apple introduced the new iPad Air, the iPad Air 4, I was really excited to see it coming out in all those awesome colors, as well as it having all that awesome specs, right? It was a really nicely put out machine, and it really makes the iPad Pro look obsolete as well. But there's one problem with the iPad Air that I noticed when I went to actually pick one up, and that is storage. Because when I went to pick one up from the Apple store, I noticed that the base model of the iPad Air just comes with 64 gigs of internal storage. Apple is making a pro-level tablet with just 64 gigs of internal storage. Let that sink in. What can you even do with 64 gigs in 2020? I mean, even if you are only going to use this for entertainment, let's say you're going to just watch Netflix and YouTube on this. If you want to download videos for offline use, I don't think that 64 gigs are going to be enough at all. I mean, if you're going to pick up that Magic Keyboard and the Apple Pencil to get some serious work done on this machine, what can you really do with 64 gigs? Even if you want to edit a video, because the iPad Air is really capable of all of these things, but the storage is going to limit this machine like crazy. I mean, in my opinion, the iPad Air can even replace most people's laptops if you're not into heavy work. Like if you pick up that Magic Keyboard and if you put together that package, that might be enough to get your work done. But let's say you want to take it up a notch, you want to edit videos, you want to edit photos, and you want to make this machine your own. 64 gigs definitely will not cut it at $599. However, if you want to upgrade the storage, you have to pay extra $150. So it's going to be more expensive for you to pick up the 256GB model. I would have really appreciated if Apple had a 128GB iPad Air in between rather than having this 64GB option. I think it's time to get rid of all things 64 gigs, because I don't think it's enough even for the average consumer anymore. What do you think? Do you agree? Go ahead, drop a comment down below and let me know. These are my impressions on the new iPad. It's such a nice device, but the storage is definitely limiting it. So if you want to pick up the new iPad Air, I would strongly recommend all of you to consider the 256GB model of the iPad Air. Even though Apple said that the iPad Air is just $599, when you add in the Apple Pencil too, as well as the new Magic Keyboard, the price of even the base model 64GB iPad Air could pass $1,000. So that's the price there in United States. But when it comes to Sri Lanka, the pricing is going to be even higher considering the dollar rate. So because of that, you'll really have to think before picking this machine up. However, if you want to buy a new iPad, the iPad Air 4 is a sweet deal, but I would strongly recommend you to consider the 256GB model instead of the 64GB base model. Or if you are trying to pick up an iPad for pro level work, I would strongly recommend you to hold on a little bit, because I'm sure Apple is going to come out with new versions of the iPad Pro very soon with this new A14 chip that Apple actually has in this. I think they will even come up with a more improved version for the new iPad Pro probably early next year. So just hold on if you can, because that machine is going to be so much better, so much more powerful, and so much more focused to that pro user. But for basic use, I would strongly recommend the iPad Air. By the way, if you're new to my channel, hit on that subscribe button, and you can find all the links to follow me on social media down below in the description. And until I see you guys in my next video, this is Banu signing out.